Song that's most personal to me, I mean, well, She Lays Down, 'cause it's about my mum. It doesn't get much more personal than that. I'm sure my mum won't mind me saying this, but she told me a story when I was about 17 that she was so gripped with postnatal depression that she remembers coming into my room when I was like a couple of months old and lying on the floor and actively trying to love me. How fucking brutal is that? That is brutal, especially considering like how close me and my mum are, because we're like insanely close. But like that resonated with me so much. I think that, you know, writing music for me is such a catharsis and such a personal thing that I think that had to come out. I mean, there's songs on there about my nana who died, and there's songs of, you know, the whole record is completely personal because that's the only reason that gives it purpose for me. It doesn't matter otherwise. I don't care if I'm not like figuring something out. There's no point. Ballad of Me in My Brain, maybe. That's how I feel most of the time. I think that, because I don't know. I think that song's quite like intense in its intention, but it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's, I don't know, it's quite funny in times, occasionally. I think that sums me up quite well. The Sound will be the oldest song on the album. The Sound is the oldest. The Sound didn't make the first album, so I had the bridge and the chorus for The Sound. And like I spoke about the fear, you know, because it's like almost like a boy band song. We didn't have the confidence on the first album to pull it off. It was just too much, so we left it. And it kind of, and this album really gave it its context, you know, because it was surrounded by like Lost My Head and all these kind of moments that made it even weirder, made it even stand out even more, which for me obviously found quite exciting. I like If I Believe You because because you know that song. Within our fans, you know, there's so many different. We're so lucky to have such a massive multicultural fan base, and you know, when you see young Muslim kids and young, you know, obvious kids that come from kind of like, I don't know, a black gospel background or whatever it may be in America, and you see them all kind of dealing with this. Because what it's really about is my envying the faithful. So all it does is kind of questions both sides, and it's a very gospel inspired number. People cry. People get very. It's like exercise. They wait for that moment to be like, "Whoa," and I get it, and I can feel it. I didn't nearly give it to One Direction. This is something I said in an interview. I suppose I did. Fucking hell, imagine if I did. Oh God, can you imagine? They wouldn't have liked it. What happened was they were like, I got a phone call and they were like, One Direction want you to write a tune for them, and I was like, fucking get in, right? Because, you know, right? And I think it's very distasteful when artists talk about money, but fucking come on, if you know, it's like Adele wants you to write a tune. Oh no, you're alright. So I went in there, really nice lads. They were really nice, like excited and that. And I was like, fucking hell, I don't know what I'm doing, because I'm not the kind of artist that goes in and I'm like, right, let's just figure something out. Like that's not what I do. So I then just started playing them like demos of stuff that I had. And I was like, what are you doing? It's like your next album. But I was like, fuck it. And then I think The Sound, I played them and they were like, oh, that's quite good. But then they played me a song. What had happened is they'd already written a song that sounded like the 1975, and they'd got me in to pretty much go, yeah, go on then, use that. Which I didn't. They used it anyway, but they're One Direction, whatever, they'll do that. But I didn't nearly give The Sound to One Direction. But I do like The Sound. It took us ages to figure it out, though. So Big Light must be confusing. Racket is a reference to Not Enough Noise and Too Much Racket. That's a drug reference. Another one. That one, I don't know. I'm not as English on this record. Have you noticed that? George said it to me the other day. He said, "You're crooning." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You started crooning on this album." Like you fucking Elvis or something. Change of Heart, I haven't got an English accent. I listened to it back, I'm like, oh yeah. I was talking to Paul Buchanan about this, right? The guy from the Blue Nile. Because I'm obsessed with him, and then he heard that we were obsessed, and we met up and we've spoken about music before. He's a fucking legend. People just assume that every single line is a deeply personal thing. A lot of it is. A lot of those things are just ideas. Like, Change of Heart, for example. I got a phone call off my ex-girlfriend, just going fucking nuts, saying like, "How dare you say those kind of things?" And she just basically joined the dots. She'd just taken that and thought, well, that means that, and that means that. And if you've got loads of subtext of like a relationship, you're going to do that. And I kind of had to be a bit like, it's not even really about you. Sorry. Sorry. And it wasn't cheating, but we haven't been together for a year, and I wrote it about someone else. Sorry. Oh, well, I can't say that, because then I'll just breed my own insecurities onto other people who probably love that song. This Must Be My Dream. It's winding me up at the moment, because it's so hard to sing. But the rest of them are fine. The wankiest word would be... Come on, Susie, what's me at my most wanker on this album? Oh, it's got to be the sound when I'm going on about Epicurean philosophy. Fucking hell. Bad, isn't it, when you have to think that much? Like, how often are you awfully pretentious? My favourite lyric on the record, I think, is "Hey kids, we're all just the same, what a shame." I don't know why, but live, even though I said that "If I Believe You" is the kind of moment, there's this kind of, I don't know, because I don't really know what it means. It's kind of a joke about like thinking that, you know, like elitism and kind of like racism and all these kind of things, like historically they've kind of thought they were right, you know. It's just a shame that everything's ended in the way that it has.